So the next thing we're going to go through, guys, is our market update. All right, let me get that up and running here. Perfect. Okay, here we go. So every month when we get together, we talk about what's happening in the market to be able to share with you what to expect. So we'll do a little bit of a forecasting as well as prior month look back. And the way that I always like to do it is I'll start with Texas, so the roll up for how Texas did overall last month, and then I break down each of the individual markets along the way. So we'll start with the overall Texas market. Last month in March, the sales price was $403,000, which was down 1% year over year. I gotta say that even though last year we were looking at sales price increases in the 15% range, the fact that we are only down overall 1%, I think is actually something to celebrate. There is one major market here in Texas that is pulling down the curve. It is the same major market that was pulling up the curve this time last year that has gotten us into negative territory this year. Last month, closed sales were down. They were down 12.4%. This is actually something I'm kind of celebrating as well, because if you looked at how we ended 2022, in some months towards the end of the year, sales volume was down 30% year over year. So the fact that we're only down 12.4 is actually pretty good. And our close to ask is 94.7%. So if it was listed for $100,000, it sold for $94,700. If you go back in the time machine last year, that number was closer to 100% for all of Texas. In the Houston market, the average sales price was $409,000. It was down, but it was only down 0.3%. So basically flat. Sales were down 18% year over year. But the exciting news I have to share with you today is that the pending sales are only down 5% year over year. So that means we have more buyers that have jumped in the market, probably because we had a little dip in interest rates after we had a few bank failures. And the Fed said, hey, we're breaking stuff. And the treasury markets and the bond markets all kind of changed up, and we saw interest rates drop at least 0.5% for many people. Where's everyone going? So you can see that lease listings in Texas, in Houston, were up 15% year over year. Lease price up 13.5% year over year. And the number of new properties that are put on the market for lease increased 19.5%. So basically what that means is a lot of the would-be sellers are saying, I don't like the market right now, or I can't sell my property for what I thought I was going to be able to sell it for, so I'm just going to hold it for a year and lease it and go back and check in what the market looks like next year. In the San Antonio market, sales price $367,000, down 1% year over year. Sales were down 12% year over year, and the pending sales also down 12%. So that basically means as we close out April, we'll probably see a reduction in sales in the San Antonio market at about 12%. Where's everybody gone? Again, the number of properties that are being leased up 27%. Lease price up 3% to $18.15 a month. In Austin, Austin saw the sales price drop $474,000. It was down 2% year over year. Not as bad as what we saw last month. So last month was a lot stronger decrease. Dallas, I apologize. Dallas was down 2%, $474,000. Sales were basically flat year over year, and the pending sales down, but they're only down 1%. So what they say is, as Dallas goes, so does the rest of Texas, except for Houston. So Dallas is probably the biggest leading predictor of what the rest of Texas is going to look like, except for Houston, only because Houston's market has a lot more oil and gas, financial services, and medical than some of the other markets in Texas. So this was a really strong showing for Dallas last month. And leases, people again jumping into leases. So leases were up 29% year over year. Lease price up 3% year over year. Austin, so this is the market that I told you was pulling down the curve for the rest of Texas. The sales price was down 12.5% to $565,000. So in some months, the late summer months, we were seeing prices as high as $600,000 in Austin. So it was the fastest and highest to go up, and it's also coming down the fastest as well. Closed sales down 14% year over year. And our pending sales down about 12% year over year. Close to ask price this time last year was about 106%, meaning that if it was listed for $100,000, it sold for $106,000. March of 2023, if it was listed for $100,000, it sold for $92,400. So this market's taking a bigger hit. So wanted to be able to share that with you just so you know what's happening in this market.